You know, there are several ways to cut a six-piece skirt depending on factors like the nature of the fabric, the patterns on the fabric, and even the quantity of fabric that you have. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut a six-piece skirt. I would say the best way, because this way saves fabric, it reduces fabric wastage, and you can only use this method on fabrics that doesn't have up and down, that does not have pattern that has up and down. Hi, my name is Oluwatosin. Let us just jump right into the video. Here is the Ankara we are going to be using.
So this is my current measurement. Our skirt length is 40, our skirt waist is 29, then our hip is 36, and these are the basic measurements required.
So moving ahead, guys,
we are going to be doing a little bit of calculation, and what we are going to be considering is our hip is 36. Coincidentally, 36 is a yard. So there are two ways to even go about this particular method. You can decide that you are using so yards to cut this six-piece skirt. You can say I'm using 2 yards, I want to manage my fabric. You can say I'm using 3 yards. You can say I'm using 4 yards because I want it full. And you can also say that I want to use whatever the person's hip is, or let me say whatever is the highest measurement between the person's skirt waist and hip. In most cases is the hip, but there are some few cases that it will be the person's skirt waist. Maybe a pregnant person or people with very big tummy. I keep saying this in most of my tutorials because I've seen a lot. Some persons have bigger skirt waist than hip. There might be few, but there are people like that. So you can also say you want to consider the highest measurement between a skirt waist and a hip. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be using the method of considering the highest measurement between the skirt waist and the hip, and whatever the highest one is, which in this case is the person's hip, I'm going to be multiplying our hip by 2.5. So that is the quantity of fabric that I'll be using to cut this six-piece skirt. And coincidentally, this person's hip is 36, which is a yard. So I'm not using the yard method. I'm using the hip times 2.5. It's not as if I'm using 2.5 yards. I hope I'm making sense. It's not as if I'm using 2.5 yards. So if the person you are cutting for, if our hip happens to be 40, just go ahead to use 40 times whatever, times 2 or times 3 times 4, depending on how full you want your 6 pieces to be. But this person's hip coincidentally is 36, so I'm going to be using 36 times 2.5. So when I go to my calculator and I calculate 36 times 2.5, whatever I get, that means I'm using 90 inches to cut this particular 6-piece skirt. And don't forget, I said that I'm using this method that saves fabric. This method saves fabric, trust me. And when you are cutting on a fabric that doesn't have up and down, that you can rotate anyhow, this is the best method to use because it's going to save you a whole lot of fabric. Just stay with me to understand what I'm saying. So I'm using 36 times 2.5, which gives me 90. Now I'm cutting a 6-piece skirt. So this quantity that I have, I'm going to be dividing it by 6. So 90 divided by 6 gives me 15. I'm cutting 6 pieces, that's why I'm dividing by 6. If I was cutting 8 pieces, I would have divided by 8. If I was cutting 16 pieces, I would have divided by 16. So now I have 15. That means I'm going to fold 15. So I'm going to fold 15 now. So this is 15. I measured 15 and then I folded it into 2. When I measure what I have here now, this is 7.5, which gives me 15. That means this is like how full each piece is going to be. This is how full each piece is going to be. So the next thing I'm going to consider is the full length. Our full length is 41. I wrote 40 here, but I'm using 41. It's 41. And this skirt is going to have band of 1.5 inch. So I'm just going to measure 1.5 inch like this. I'll put it up like this. Then I'll proceed to measuring my 41. And because this skirt is going to be fully lined, I'll be adding 2 inches allowance. That is why I'm marking 43. So I want to cut it out from the whole Ankara. Now, I've succeeded in bringing out the quantity I'll be using for one piece out of the 6 pieces. The next thing to do is to consider how wide each piece is going to be at this upper region, at the region that is going to be fitted, not the flare region now. And to consider that, all you have to do is consider the hip, or the highest measurement between the skirt waist and hip. As is an hip, so I'm going to be considering an hip, which is 36. I'm going to be dividing this by 6 because I'm cutting 6 pieces. If you are cutting 8 divided by 8, if you are cutting 16 divided by 16. So because I'm cutting 6 pieces now, I'm going to be dividing this by 6. Whatever answer it gives me is, now I have 6. I'm still going to divide that 6 by 2 because this answer that I have folded it into 2. So I'm going to divide 6 by 2 now. It's giving me 3. It's just a coincidence that it is a perfect, like, a round figure. It can give you 2.5 1/4. It can give you 3 and 3.25. It depends on the measurements you are working on. So this gives me 3. This is my 3. I'm going to mark 3 like this. Then I'm going to be adding 1/2 1/4 each allowance. So whatever it is I have here, I will measure together. That's 3.5. Now, the next is to mark out a new length. Depending on who you are cutting for, if the person you are cutting for is somebody that is not tall or not too tall, just use new length between, when you put your 1.5 inch up like this, use new length between 16 and 18 is perfect. When is a skirt, not when is a dress, not when is a gown that you have to join to the half cut. I'm talking about when it is a 6-piece skirt. So just consider using new length between 16 and 18. And if the person is a tall person, consider using, people with skirt length of like 42, 44, 46, consider using new length between 18 and 22. So in this case, I'll be using, because our actual skirt length is 40, I just want to use 41. So I'll be, in fact, our pencil skirt length is 38. It is our 6-piece skirt length that is 40. So I'm just going to be using 17 in our case. So our new length is going to be 17. So remember that number that we have here, which is 3.75 plus the allowance. I'm going to be measuring it from that point up to this point, and then I'll connect it into a straight line. So after connecting that into a straight line, the next thing to do is to pick up your straight ruler and then you read it out like this. From that 3.75, you just go ahead to read it out like this. And trust me guys, if you don't have access to a straight ruler, maybe you are somewhere and you don't have access to a straight ruler, you can still just use your tape rule basically like this. Just look for something to hold down your tape rule here, and then you just do like this and you trace it out. Then you proceed to cutting this out. So what I have here is for 1 piece. Now I'm going to be cutting 5 of this for 5 pieces, and when I get to the 6th one, which is supposed to be the 6 pieces, in actual sense it is 7 pieces because of where the zip is going to pass. But when I get to the 6th one, I'll make some explanations. But I'm going to be cutting exactly 5 of this. It's just that I'm going to be rotating it. Where I used as up, now it's going to be down for the other piece, just like that, to save fabric. See, now I've cut 3 pieces, and this is the only pieces I have. Like, this is the only pieces that, this is the only part that is wasting now from the 3 pieces. I've been rotating it. I've been making up, down, down, up as I'm going. So now this is my number 4th. This is the 4th species, and this is going to be the down now. So just keep rotating it like that till you get to the 5th one. So I've gotten to the 6th one now. If you want to add any fullness to the back of your 6-piece skirt, this is the time to do it. It depends on how much you are going to fold. So this is the time to do it. See guys, when I measured that 90, the quantity initially, I put a mark at that 90. Look at it. This is the mark now. This is the notch I put here. And this is the 6th one. So if I want to use all the 90, I can just go ahead to fold like this now, depending on how full I want the back to be. So this is going to be the down now. This is going to be the down now, and this is the zip allowance and the little pieces that is remaining for me to just make it a little bit fuller than the front. So what I'm going to do is that from this waistline, I'll be marking 1.5 inch, which is the zipper allowance, up to the new length. You remember that the new length I used is 17, but now I'm going to be using new length of 15. I'm using new length of 15, so up to that 15, I'll mark 1.5 as the zipper allowance, like this. Then at this point of this 15, I'm going to be using 1, not 1.5. So it's going to be like this. Then I'm going to extend. I'm going to be using the whole of what I have left now. Then I'll proceed to cutting this out. So guys, this is the center front and this is the center back with zip allowance and a little bit of extension to make it a little bit fuller than the front. So now we have to start shaping these pieces. We've just been cutting since we've not shaped. We have to start shaping. And to start shaping now, you are going to pick one, any one that you like. Let's say this Ankara has one pattern that you're targeting, that you want it to be at the middle, center front. It is now that you determine the one you want to pick as the center front, but this one does not have, so I'm just going to go ahead to pick anyone as the center front, and whichever one I picked at the center front, I'm not going to alter it at all. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm just going to leave it at the if divided by 6 divided by 2 plus half and quarter inch sewing allowance. I'll leave it like that. So this is the center front. I'll be labeling it so that I don't mix it up. The next thing is I'm going to pick another two, face right side to the right side, then I will explain what we are going to do to that. So this is 2 pieces now from the whole 6 pieces. I faced right side to right side. Make sure right side is facing right side. It is very, very important. So the next I'm going to be doing is that, remember that this skirt is going to have band of 1.5 inch, and then our new length is 17. So this is the new length. So from this new length, come up with 1.5 inch. At this point of 1.5 inch, depending on how fitted you want the new length region to be, depending on how fitted, but you know, the more the fit, the shappier it appears. So at this point, I'm just going to be going to, at that point of that 1.5 inch, inward with 1. You can go inward with ½ inch, you can use 1.5. It depends on how fitted you want that region to be. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to be going inward with 1 inch. And at this part here, this is the waistline now. I'll be going inward with 1 inch as well. So I'm going to be connecting from here. I'm going to be connecting like this, then like this. Then I'm connecting this point to this point. So now it's like I have another point that I'm going to rule out. So from this point, I'll come back to ruling it out like this. I'll connect it back like this. Then I'll proceed to cutting this out. So after cutting this out, this is what I have. This is the shaping side now. I call it hip when I want to label it so that I don't forget. So this is like the hip, the side where I'm going to shape the hip. So I always put H for hip as my labeling at this point. And I know that this point is the side I'm going to attach to the center front. So this is the front panel now. Let me open this up for you guys to see. So this is for the both sides. And here is the center front. So when I open this up like this, this is what I have. It is when I'm done joining this place and this place that I'm going to fold it into 2, and then I'm going to crop the down the way I want it to be. You know, this down is not supposed to be that pointy. So I'm just going to crop this down a little, but that is when I'm sewing. That is when I'm done cutting the front and back, I'm done cutting the lining, and it's now time for me to start joining. So basically that is it for the front panel. So moving over to the back panel now. So for the back panel, bring back the remaining 2 pieces. That's the side back now. Face right side to right side, just the same way we did for the side front. Let right side be facing right side. And since the two hip has like the 2 sides for hip has to be in agreement before you can shape. So all you have to do is just bring back this one and place it. This is side front now. Then you place it on the side back, and then you shape it the same way you shaped the side front. So these are the 4 pieces for the 2 sides at the front, then 2 for the 2 sides at the back. So I'll proceed to labeling this one too as H. This is hip. So the next thing now is to shape the middle back, that's center back now. So I'm going to keep 2 aside. This is for the front, side back, right side is facing right side. In everything you do, please make sure right side is facing right side, because if right side doesn't face right side, when it's time for you to sew, it's going to give you very big problems. So now remember that this is the side, this is the center where the zip is going to pass, and this is the side. So this center where the zip is going to pass, you are going to leave it straight the way it is, but opposite of where the zip is going to pass, that's the side where you are going to join to the side back. You are going to place it on opposite of hip, opposite of H, opposite of where the zip is going to pass, and opposite of the part you labeled as H. That's the part where you are going to shape. You will place them on each other like this. Make sure they are properly arranged, and as you are doing this too, right side has to be on right side for the center back as well. Don't forget it has a band of 1.5 inch. Our new length is 17. When I wanted to shape for the hip, I came up with 1.5 inch, but now I'm going to come up with 2 inches from the new length 2 inches, and then I'll go inward with 1 inch. Then at this part as well, I'm going to go inward with ½ inch, not one like we did for when we were shaping the each side. Then I proceed to cutting this out. Guys, trust me, if you do this to this side of your 6 pieces skirt, that's the side where you're going to join to the 2 sides
of the back panel,
it will appear as if the person's hip is bigger than what it is. Like, it will appear bigger. This is like the technique almost like the technique in removing breast cup or breast pad, whether princess dance or center cuts, as long as breast cup. This is the same technique. So now let me arrange this for you guys to see. This place is going to puff out a little, then it will make the hip be like this. It will appear bigger. Let me arrange this now. This is the center back where the zip is going to pass. I'm going to open it up like this. So where the zip will pass will remain straight. Then I have something looking like this. The next thing is, right side has to face right side before I'll join. And if that is the case, this is for this side. So it's going to be like this. And this is for this side. You see this opening, these 2 openings. By the time you are sewing and you forcefully bring this opening together and you bring this one too together, then you bring this one together, this place is going to puff a little. So it will make the hip be like this, as if it's bigger than what it is.
So the next thing to do is to cut the lining the exact measurement. Just make it 2 inches shorter than the full length. Then in my next video, I'm going to be uploading how I sew this skirt. Then by God's grace, in the video after the sewing video, I'm going to be uploading how to cut a 6 pieces skirt on a fabric that has pattern that you cannot rotate up and down. There are some fabrics that you cannot turn upside down. It's just going to spoil the whole pattern. So in my next video, I'm going to be uploading another method of cutting 6 pieces skirts on fabrics like that. So stay tuned and thank you for watching. See you in my next video.